Good morning, students. Standard 6, subject science, chapter number 2, the living thing. In this period, we learn about the property of living thing, that is reproduction. We know that the lifespan of any animal or plant is limited. In this lifespan, at certain stage, certain stage of life, the living things become capable of reproduction. Reproduction. Re means again. Production means produce or to create or to generate. Living organisms have a capacity to produce again and again other living things. The living things reproduce. Other living things like themselves. See again, the living things reproduced means they can generate other living thing, means a new living thing, but that living thing is like themselves. We explain that sentence with some examples. In case of animals, the animals are reproduced by two ways. Some animals reproduce to give birth to their infant, their young one. And some animals lay eggs and young one hatch to out egg. We see about some animals to give birth to their young one. The known example of this is a dog, cat, cow, and many other animals. The dog, to give birth to their young one, which like dog. Also, the cat, about the cat, to give birth to their young one as like cat. Means the dog give birth to young one as like dog and not as like young one cat. Means every living thing reproduce other living thing like themselves and not like other species. Then second thing, some animals lay eggs and the young one hatch the egg out from that egg. For example, birds and some reptiles lays eggs and the young one born from that egg. Then we see the reproduction in plants. Plants reproduce from roots, stem, leaves, and seeds. Means the reproduction takes place in plants from roots, stems, leaves and seeds, which are the part of the plant. For example, in case of wow, or in case of sweet potato, how the new plant develop? This is the root system. In case of sweet potato, that is new plant, which develops from the root system of these trees. In case of the stems, some plants reproduced with the help of stem. For example, we see always the potato in our house. The surface of the potato has some buds, and a new plant is developed from the stem of potato. That is the new plant. One known example of that. If a plant of rose in your garden, then cut the piece of the stem of that plant and planted it again in a garden. But the branch has some buds. When you planted it, then observe 1 to 2 months. You see that some new leaves are formed on that. Means the reproduction in roses takes place with the help of stem. Then the reproduction by leaves. Some plants have leaves like this. See, that is the leaf of the plant. Observe the margin of that leaf. It has some notches, and from that notches the buds are created, and the buds develop in a small plant, that is new plant. Mean the reproduction takes place with the help of leaves, and the reproduction in plant is also takes place with the help of seeds. For example, wheat, then rice, bajra, and many other examples in which the reproduction takes place with the help of seeds. Now you have much more time, then you can do a small activity. Take a pot and fill it with soil. Then sow some seeds of wheat in that pot, layer them with soil and water in it. Then observe that pot after 1 month. We see a small plants are developed from these seeds. After 3 to 4 months, you see a part like that flower is developed. Pluck that part and rub it on your hand. You observe the seeds of wheat are come from that part. Means we know that in the case of reproduction, every living organism form or produce other living organism which is look like themselves and not other species. We see the definition of reproduction. Definition of reproduction in which reproduction is a process in which living organism or living things reproduce or generate other living thing like themselves. Is called reproduction. Or it is also called as recreation.